What was I gonna draw again? Oh yeah, some
Wow.
figure drawing. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Mike. I'm a freelance illustrator and artist based in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And today we are doing some figure drawing. So the source of images I'm pulling from are on the YouTube channel Draw This, and they post videos of live figure drawing where they have a model change poses every minute to then 2-minute poses and then 5-minute poses and so on, which is typical in a traditional figure drawing session. The reason why I chose figure drawing for this video's topic is because I've been super rusty with drawing anatomy lately, and especially trying to get poses that are dynamic. And my initial feelings getting back into the figure drawing is sort of similar to riding a bike after years of not doing it. But fun fact, I actually don't know how to ride a bike, so I don't know what really to compare it to. I guess maybe to picking up any activity after not doing it in such a long time. And with figure drawing, there's definitely value to be had. You can definitely learn a lot from even quick gestures. It helps you loosen up and, prepare for a longer drawing. But when I was diving into these, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I see them more as scribbles than actual gestures, but after getting the hang of a few, you kind of start to get the flow. But I think partially why I felt lost when starting these was because I didn't have a particular motivation, and what that means is having a goal with the figure drawings, what you want to extract from the study. And since I didn't have one in mind, I sort of dived into it unknowingly. And typically motivations could be things like focusing on the shadows of the figure or focusing on just the movement of the figure. And for longer poses, of course, you can start to incorporate a few more motivations into one gesture drawing. And the idea of motivations I didn't really know about till I looked into Ron Lehman, who is a fine artist who specializes in figure drawing. And I actually found his YouTube series probably around 2009 or 2010. And they're very useful as far as learning how to figure draw. In fact, I think I learned most of my figure drawing from watching his videos. Also doing studies from Andrew Loomis and books from Michael Hampton. But definitely look into Andrew Loomis, especially if you're into the golden age of American illustration. His work was pretty influential in a lot of artists' work at the time. And Michael Hampton sort of approaches it also very technically. Actually, they both approach it that way, and because I don't really find myself learning effectively through a technical approach, I'm more of an intuitive learner. I typically extract information that I like from their approach, but also apply methods of my own choosing. So for me, I also draw from a lot of photo sources. The internet has a lot of imagery that you can pull from, so Google can be your best friend as far as finding things to draw from. Definitely use that a lot if you want to dive into learning about the human anatomy. But say you don't want to rely on people's photos and you do want to learn from, Andrew Loomis. I think his book is now available on PDF for free, so I think with a simple Google search you could probably find it. Okay, so in the first segment of this video, the drawings were 1 minute, 2 minute, and 5 minute poses, and here we're just finishing up the last of the 5 minute poses before I dive into a long drawing. Sort of experimented with different tools on these last 5 minute drawings. Okay, so shifting gears really quick, I posted a question on my Instagram a few days ago, and I want to incorporate some involvement from the Instagram community into my YouTube videos. So I asked the question of, what's your most frustrating experience with art? And as promised, I featured at least 1 or 2 people in this video. So the responses I got were from Jai Kamat, and his response was, every day when I wake up is an existential crisis followed by frustration until I remember how to draw for like 2 hours. I feel you, bro, I feel you. And with Love Patrick, for me, I've noticed that the older I get, the less patient I get with these kinds of things, but I try to focus and get less annoyed about it. And the question I posed was in context to this very video in regards to figure drawing and being frustrated with it. But thank you guys again for commenting. Again, look out for future posts on my Instagram and definitely leave a response and I'll feature 1 or 2 of your comments in the next video. Alright, so now I'm diving into the main drawing of this video, and it's still from the same source of the Draw This YouTube channel, and I kind of skimmed through a video of one of their models to find a pose that I liked, and I actually did not time this one, so this one I actually just made it as if it was a normal study from a photo. And with the approach that I took with this study, I kind of mixed in a more conventional approach combined with my own methods. When I started drawing early on with figures, I looked at fine artists like Charles Bargue, and he used a technique called envelope or enveloping, and I think it's a traditional way of learning as far as working from the perspective of general to specific. So to better illustrate the idea of enveloping as how I interpret it, think of your subject matter as just one general shape. So in this image, what is the first shape that you can read from here? So for me, I can see a triangle that sets the basic shape of the figure. But if you were to delineate further, you could probably do even a trapezoid. And once you have this envelope, that basically sets the general idea of your subject matter. So the next stage is to then work towards the specific. So in the secondary stage of this, you can find smaller shapes within that triangle that form the overall structure of your subject. So at this stage of the drawing, you can compare it to a sculptor with his chisel. So now you're basically just chipping away at your envelope to create the specific shape that creates the silhouette of your figure. And in the end, you should have something that looks like this, the green outline. And from there, you can then work in the details of the drawing, so things like shadow and so forth. But keep in mind that enveloping is a time-taxing approach, and it's probably better if you were to do it from a long sitting from a live model or from a photo. And even though I don't employ enveloping in its full potential in this study, I have done it in the past, and where my skill level is now, I sort of employ enveloping on a micro scale. So I'll apply it to limbs in the figure as opposed to the overall figure itself. So for example, I'll start with the abstract shape of a head, and then I'll work that general shape into the more specific details. Things like the nose, the mouth, the chin, the eye sockets, the ears, etc. And then I typically apply that same method to different parts of the body, so the chest, the arms. And I think down the road, when I find more time, I can get back to basic studies and do a legit study with the envelope approach, because I haven't done it in such a long time. And when I did do it in the past, it was normally done in my Moleskine sketchbook. Since that's a higher quality paper, I like to use that type of paper for something that takes more time to finish, something more deliberate. And I think if you don't know where to start when you do figure drawing, I think the envelope approach is definitely a good way to start, because even if you don't know exactly what part of the figure you want to study, it can help you broaden the image into that very basic form, and then you can start to break it down into the individual pieces of the figure. Most importantly though, is to just start somewhere, because there's so many methods you can approach figure drawing that if you try to weigh out the pros and cons of each one and not get around to actually doing the study, then you're holding yourself back and actually doing the work. So sometimes it's just better to pick up the pencil and start scribbling. Okay, so aside from the study, I guess I can talk a little bit about my week. It was quite a hectic week, in fact. I just got insurance for my car, and that was on Thursday. And the next day, Friday morning, I actually got into a little accident, so that was unfortunate. I made a brief mention of it on my Instagram, but that threw off my whole week. And as far as recording this video, it kind of set me back on doing the recording. So I'm actually doing this recording now the day before release, which is Sunday. And the video will go live tomorrow morning on Monday at 8. So that kind of put me back a little bit. And as far as the intro to this episode of Sketch Soup, I wasn't really sure how to open the video, and I know I can do a simple "hello, welcome back to my channel" type of thing, but I actually did the recording on Tuesday. I did the recording on Tuesday, but with my schedule on Tuesday, I didn't get to do a proper intro. So I had a lot of footage recorded as far as bloopers go, and I took those snippets of bloopers or cuts and used that as my intro. And because I didn't talk in those, I did a little voiceover. So hopefully that little intro didn't throw you guys off. And as far as future content for this series and my YouTube channel in general, I want to know from you guys, what type of videos would you like to see more of? Do you enjoy these time-lapse formats for Sketch Soup? That's the original concept that I came up for this little series, and if you guys want to see something different, like drawing in different mediums or doing different subject matter, then definitely leave a comment or DM me about those concerns. And while on the subject of future content, I actually have started recording footage for prepping a surface for painting. So I've been recently looking back into doing oil paints, and because I don't have my materials that I had from university, I actually started to look for some surfaces to paint on, and I have a watercolor Moleskine sketchbook that I probably only use maybe 5 or 6 pages of, but I took one of the pages and I gessoed over it. And I'm recording all this footage so that way I can make a little video out of it. But the next step is just to finish sanding down the paper and prepping it. And then I'll probably do a few more pages just to get some surfaces to paint on. But I already ordered some brushes, so I'm looking forward to doing some oil painting again. So perhaps I'll even do a little video of that for Sketch Soup, or maybe just a standalone video. I think one thing that I really enjoyed with Sketch Soup recently was with the previous episode. I did a little poll on my Instagram asking what image should I draw, X or Y. And I think that's a fun way to involve people, so I think I might do more of those in the future. Alright, so the study is coming to a finish here, and we'll do some little pan overs so you can admire it in all its glory. As far as the result of it, I'm pretty happy with the study. I think there are a few things that I would go back and address, but it's done and over with. There's plenty of more paper to draw on for that. So if you would like to, definitely subscribe to the channel for other updates. Definitely follow me on Instagram, as that's where I post all of my content for the majority. So with that, I will leave you all to your own figure drawing, and definitely do all those studies to improve. I will see you all in the next video.
Your buddy info.